Heeding the warning, knowing that things were coming. They got off the roads, and thankfully they are off the roads. And again, shortly we're going to go out to the South Lebanon area to our reporter Rachel Hersheimer. She's trying to get ready, get some more information about what's going on there.
We're making sure, of course, that our reporters are safe during all of this too, with all of the lightning that's out there. So we'll get you those images as soon as possible. Want to get back on over though to Kevin Robinson, who is tracking yet another storm that's moving in right now. Hi there, Kevin.
Hey, good evening, Mike and Sheree. Obviously a busy one out here tonight. And again, we keep watching these storms, and I just want to use this storm right over downtown Cincinnati here for an example, just for a moment. When we talk about conditions being favorable with rotation in the atmosphere, this storm, while it is innocuous at this point, but look at the rotation in the atmosphere. You see how that storm wants to hook on it? That just speaks to the amount of rotation that's in the atmosphere. So the atmosphere is ready and supportive of severe weather. Again, I still think we've hit the ceiling, but can't sound the all clear. Another nasty looking storm. But notice this storm too is very close to or behind the outflow. So Allison, let's just do a quick look on the velocity just to double check on the storm across northern Kentucky, because again, storms are still pretty nasty out there. I'm not seeing anything at the moment. It doesn't look like I see anything that just jumps out down here and across the river in northern Kentucky. But again, I think this just speaks to the intensity or the environmental setup tonight that is supportive of any threat for tornadoes around here. Again, I do think overall we've kind of hit the ceiling on this event. I think it's downhill from here, but it's not to say we're completely in the clear yet. So let's go back to the reflectivity on radar. And there we go. That's how things are looking at the moment. Let's come out a little bit and see what else is happening around the area. It looks like there's another healthy storm back towards the Cleves and Addiston community, as these storms are just kind of rolling right along the Ohio River right now. Look at this big blob of heavy rainfall across much of northern Clermont County. Thunder and lightning and that, but none of that severe. And then basically we've got the heavy rain. Let's go west, Allison, into southeast Indiana, see how things are looking there. Back here, we've got new storms that continue to develop. So when we talk about the flood threat, as long as I keep seeing new storms develop, that is going to allow this threat for flooding to persist for several hours and continue with the threat for heavy rainfall. So that's what we have right now. Let's go big picture view on what's happening with the tri-state in terms of the overall severe threat. So again, just dealing with heavy rainfall right now across the metro area. There are a couple of storms we're keeping an eye on. It does seem, for at least the moment, the general threat for tornadoes has decreased, and I do think we are in the decreasing phase of this event. But again, with the watch still in effect, we want folks to stay and remain alert. If you're north of the river, you're practically out of the woods with this scenario in terms of the wind, tornado component, but not the heavy rain threat. Mike and Sheree, that's what we're dealing with around here at the moment. I'm going to send it over to Allison. I think you've got something?
Yeah, Kevin, I just want to talk a little bit more about this heavy rainfall. Again, it is coming down in buckets outside. And unfortunately, this is the second time today that we've seen this scenario with that torrential rain coming down for Greater Cincinnati. Our highways, our roads, they've dealt with a lot of rainfall already today. In fact, throughout the entire state of Kentucky, I was just looking, Owen County, Campbell County, and Boone County have picked up more rainfall than anyone in the state. So a lot of that fell earlier this afternoon, right around 1 o'clock, when we saw those clusters of storms moving through initially. Now we're seeing round number 2 of that intense rainfall moving through, and we've seen rainfall rates picking up quite a bit over the last little bit. And as Kevin was talking about, we've got these training thunderstorms here where it rains in one spot, and then those thunderstorms just continue to pour into that same area. So we continue to see storm after storm after storm over top of the same community. So that's what we're seeing right now. In fact, starting to see some reports of some issues on lots of the different roadways. I'm not sure if we're able to pull any of our traffic cameras, but I believe I have I-75 pulled up at 3rd Street. If we are able to pull any of those in here, and you can just see how intensely that rain's coming down. And in addition to that, we still have a little bit of wind. It's not enough to be severe, but we do still have a little bit of windfall that's allowing for that rain to really just kind of come down in sheets, right? Typical of what you would see perhaps in a more tropical environment where you see this wall of water kind of just coming down with all of the wind. Starting to see also on a lot of the highways, I was looking at some of the different traffic cameras around town, A lot of the highways starting to see some hazard lights going on the cars as they kind of go into those torrential downpours as well. So that's something I think is going to end up being an evolving threat for us around town throughout the next several hours. Other than that, no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. That's good news. No other tornado warnings in effect as of right now. That's good news. But what you are seeing, you're still seeing, number one, the tornado watch. That's the big red box that's covering all of greater Cincinnati. But in addition to that, areas north of the Ohio River, those other red boxes that you're seeing that are kind of colored in there, those are the flash flood warnings that are in effect for southeastern Indiana and pretty much everybody who's been under the gun over the last several hours for the thunderstorms and the severe weather. So right now we are still seeing a lot of heavy rain coming down for much of the metro. And this is coming down in areas that when you've got that urban environment with a lot of the concrete, rainfall rates like this, that poses a pretty big threat for some flooding. So that's something that we'll be keeping a really close eye on here over the next couple of hours too. So those heavy rainfall rates on the west side right now, over outside of Addison, Cheviot too, and then we also have those heavy rainfall rates in northern Kentucky, right around Newport, areas of Bellevue, Dayton, closer to Fort Thomas too. Lots of heavy rainfall coming down for those locations as well. So again, we'll be keeping a really close eye on this as we move forward through the rest of tonight. That heavy rain is just going to be, I think, a threat that we wind up sticking with for a good portion of the night as we move forward through the rest of tonight here, Kevin.
Yeah, we're keeping a close eye on all this. I think you're absolutely right. I think it is the heavy rain component now that folks are concerned about. Again, look at this coming in towards Delhi, another core of just torrential rain, probably some small hail in that as well. And that's going to bring right over Delhi and then back across downtown Cincinnati. So where we've got a lot of poor drainage areas and this urban environment, everything's concrete, right? The water has nowhere to go, nothing to absorb it. I am concerned that we could be dealing and watching with an evolving flash flood threat. These oftentimes are a lot harder to predict until it's actually beginning to evolve. You know what I mean? But given the radar setup, current setup right now, Allison, bring me out just a little bit, and watching the overall performance of storms, where they are lined up in their location, while they are slowly shifting south, it is happening very slowly. So many of the same areas are getting hit repeatedly with excessive rainfall. The one silver lining is at least it's not up on the north side where we had all the heavy rainfall earlier this evening. It is now shifting its way south. It's happening slowly, but it's a subtle process. So again, that's why I say I think north of the river, you're out of the woods for severe weather tonight. South of the river, we've still got a little ways to go. And in between, where a lot of us are, a heavy rain threat that could continue for several hours, even once we're past any severe concerns. Mike.